Hey everyone, the recent Trump tariffs are likely hurting your profits, which is why in this video I'll be sharing with you 3 essential AI strategies to help Amazon sellers cut costs. The first section we'll cover is creative, where I will show you how to use ChatGPT to generate quality images so you can go from this to this. And then we will look into Rufus, and we will use it to optimize your listings and to increase conversions. And in the third section, you will learn a new AI-driven copywriting process to help you improve your organic rankings and to ensure that Rufus fully understands your product. And the reason I'm so excited to share these 3 strategies with you is that they're all powerful alone, but even better when used together. So be sure to stick throughout the entire video, because at the end, I will share with you the action plan to create a fully optimized listing. By the way, I'm giving all of the custom prompts and instructions from this video through the link in the description below. And don't worry, whether you're a beginner or a pro, I will walk you through everything step by step. For each of the 3 sections, we'll go into why this matters, and I'll explain how this AI strategy can directly impact your business. Then we'll go into the workflow overview, where I will show you the exact process using a custom document. And after that, we'll go into a live demo so you can see this process come to life. And now that we're on the same page, let's jump into it. Welcome to the creative section. We'll be diving into how we can improve our primary purchase driver, which is the listing creative. Not only will we be covering how to go from this photo on the left here to the photo on the right, we'll be uncovering how to answer any customer questions or concerns with our listing creative so they can move forward with the purchase. So here's the 4 main sections. We're going to be covering how do you take your initial photo to set up ChatGPT for success. Then we'll go into the example concept. So how do we find other assets to emulate? And then we will use some custom prompts to then use ChatGPT to emulate those custom creatives that we found. And then we will need to upscale the image to the correct resolution. So for the initial photo, we really want it to be simple and we want to have good lighting. And not only that, we want some good contrast between the product itself and the overall background, so ChatGPT has a good understanding of what our product is and what our product isn't. And the other things here is we do want the file types to be one of these 3, and we want to match the orientation that we're going to be using in our example photo. So usually you're going to have the product forward facing, but let's say you wanted a side profile of your product in the final output, then you're definitely going to want to give it a side profile and not a forward facing one. The goal for this section is to come up with an example concept, and there's 3 steps to doing so. We're first going to be doing some market research to identify the key purchase drivers, and then we'll use that research to come up with 3-word call outs for our product to help the buyer feel understood. And then we'll find other products to use as a way to inspire creative of our own. We're going to be using ChatGPT and or Perplexity. And basically you can just follow each of these 3 prompts as they will do the heavy lifting for you and just input any of the needed information that I put here in the brackets on your end. So you can do the title bullets and all this fun stuff here so it can have a better context of your product. But the goal output for prompt 1 is going to be identifying the key purchase drivers, the barriers to purchase, the usage contexts, and the messaging gaps. And then we'll use that research to come up with some key 3-word phrases that we can use within our creative to help the buyer feel understood and want to buy in a confident manner. And then the last prompt that we'll have here is to be finding other products within a similar market to serve as a way to inspire our future creative that we'll be focusing on in the next section. Awesome. So in this section, we're actually going to be submitting the photos to ChatGPT. But in order to do that, we need to find the example assets we want to emulate. And we can find those assets by using these 3 resources here, but I really recommend using Amazon. And from the previous step, right, prompt, the output from prompt number 3 is what we'll use to guide our research. And then once we find an asset that we like, we can move forward with this prompt down here, where we will be sending the initial photo of our product, right, the actual photo of our product, and then the example graphic design that we want to emulate. And then we can let ChatGPT know of any changes that we want to the overall asset. Then I've provided an example here just so you have an idea. And then once it creates the output or the overall photo, you can click into it and you'll get this custom UI here. And then you can use the draw feature or make your edit requests here. The reason why you would do that within this window is so it doesn't generate a new image. But yeah, once you have an image that you like, then just click the download button and we'll be moving to the next step. And once you've created your desired image with ChatGPT, you're going to need to resize it. I recommend using this tool because it's just really easy, and you'll start off with 100 free credits. And you're just going to navigate to their upscaler tool and then upload the image that you downloaded from ChatGPT. And then you'll go from 1,000 by 1,000 resolution or dimensions to 4,000 by 4,000. You might need to downscale that a little bit just because of Amazon's requirements, but now you have a higher resolution photo for just overall better quality. And there are some limitations. So ChatGPT still does have some difficulties with perfectly matching the product packaging. And you'll notice some slight errors of like it not centering correctly. So just be sure to be on the lookout for that, or to use a graphic designer to actually do the final details. Awesome. So we're now going to go into a live demo for the creative section. So first we need to start off with an initial photo, and it can just be as simple as this reference photo here. You're just going to want to make sure it has good lighting and it has good contrast between the background and the actual product itself. And then jumping into the example concept, you're going to be using the three main prompts that I provided you. So the first one, I recommend using Perplexity. And I just had the free version, but it does a really good job of taking a lot of resources, 68 resources, and summarizing them all for us and adding in even like references here. And so it just does a really good job of summarizing the overall market. I then copy and paste that into a different prompt and then have ChatGPT create the three-word phrases that we could use as callouts. And then I also have it find the other tangential markets, so to speak, that we can then look into for the branding guides and just overall creative that we can mimic or emulate. And then I found this image from Carpe and I really liked it, and basically just used Amazon, right, to source different ideas. And then I went to ChatGPT and then just try to do a basic prompt just to see what that would output. And as you can see, it has some flaws here with like the minty idea from the previous photo, right? But that's not accurate to our photo. And so that's why I recommend following the template that I provided. And as you can see, this is way better. I would like this to either just be fully removed and only have two callouts here, or have all three on one side. But it's an amazing piece of creative. Now there's still some weak points, right, with the overall package design is not fully accurate, but it's really awesome. And now we can, let's say we have an image that we like, we just go to the upscaler, upload our image, and then once we have it fully loaded, all we do is just download it from the upscaler and we have a fully upscale image. The Amazon algorithm is the decision-making system behind why your listings are or aren't getting traffic. And really, Amazon has made a lot of advances with their AI, primarily with Rufus. And we can actually see where Rufus is confused. And so in this section, we're going to be seeing where are the gaps, how could your listing connect better with their AI and with shoppers. So first, we're going to be getting the market questions and uncover just the main questions within your niche. Then we're going to get ASIN level questions, and we'll find the exact questions and buying triggers. And then we will assess the AI rankings to see how Rufus reads your listing. So our goal for this section is to get the overall questions for the market and just to have a rough understanding of what customers are thinking. So for this example, I'm using women's deodorant, as you can see here and here as well. And once we've entered that in, we can then click on the Rufus button if we're signed into an Amazon account. And then we'll have an idea of what are the questions for this niche. And so this is the search results. If I click on Rufus, and we'll get this chat window here. And you're going to want to skip the questions that aren't product specific, like find deals for me. But the rest of these questions are really good and help us just have an understanding of the market. And yeah, you're going to be saving these to a template, and I will be going over the template later on in this video. So stay tuned. We are now going one step deeper and getting the Rufus questions on an ASIN/product level. You're going to want to use your own judgment to find what ASINs you're going to add for this section. But generally, they should fall into three main categories, which is, first of all, your own product. So you're going to want to be sure you do your own, as you can use this as a guide to see where you can improve. Top competitors is a good way of understanding like what the top competitors' weak points are and where you can attack. And then close competitor would be like if I'm selling an all natural women's deodorant that's a bit higher in price point, I'm going to want to find the other products that would match that value add and price point, and that would be giving me a better understanding of like similar products and where their weaknesses are too. So how we're going to do this is we're going to click on the actual product. So we get to the product detail page, as you can kind of see here. And then we're going to click on the same Rufus button we did earlier. Then we will get a list of all the questions for this niche. And we're going to want to avoid the more generic ones like these two. And as you can see here, we have around 5 questions. And the pro tip, right, is you don't want to click on any of these. You just want to copy and paste them, as if you click on them, it will like erase all these other questions and it will load up new ones. And so just key tip, make sure you copy and paste them and save them into the template that I will be going over here soon. Now it's time to go over the long-awaited template and example. And so for the template, you're going to want to enter in a niche name just to stay organized. And then you'll enter in the keyword that you search to get the marketplace questions. And then you'll input in your own Rufus question responses here, and then your own competitor Rufus question responses here as well. And now we can just see an example, right? So the niche name is women's deodorant. I searched the keyword women's deodorant. Here were all the questions here. And then here are our ASIN questions. And here was a competitor question list. And yeah, that's how you're going to save this data. And we'll get into the next step. Now it's time for the most important section, which is assessing our AI ranking. You're definitely going to want to do this for your own product, but you can also add in other competitors as well. What we're going to be looking for is how confidently does Rufus respond to our answer, and Rufus is going to be using these 3 main data types to answer the questions. So our product copy and attributes, the listing reviews, and the listing images. And what we're going to be doing is we can either click on the questions that come up, or we can just copy and paste them in from the notes that we've saved earlier, and then we'll analyze the response. And so in this case, it says according to customer reviews. And so what I'm analyzing here, right, is that it's not referencing the copy of our listing. So we could add this to our copy of our listing to better answer the question. And then we can actually even see like, hey, like where is it getting these reviews from? And we can even see the review of where it's actually getting this from. And we could even add a reference image of a call to action of saying that it doesn't leave stains on clothes. And people would be like, oh, wow, I'm definitely going to buy more now, or I'm definitely feeling more confident in buying now. And so what we're going to be doing is also repeating this for the rest of the questions. So we're going to be assessing how well is our listing currently answering these questions and saving this to an overall list so we have a better way of understanding where our rankings are according to this AI. And we're going to be using this for the next section and actually taking this into an actionable plan. So stay tuned. All right, so now we're hopping into the live demo. We're going to be searching the most relevant keyword for our product, and then looking at the Rufus questions for the overall marketplace. Once we have those saved to a simple text editor or whatever is your preference, we can then click into our product or one of our close competitors' products. And then once we're here, we're going to use the same Rufus question tool and then or button, and then we'll save these questions as well. Once we have them saved into a list like this, then we can actually click onto any of the questions, and then as you'll see, it will load some new questions after this. Yeah, does it come in other sense? Is it long lasting? And these will be somewhat relevant to your original question. And then once you kind of run out of those questions or you don't like any of those, then you can just easily copy and paste from your document that you've saved, and we'll be good to go to analyze the overall AI strength or AI ranking of your own listing or a competitor's listing. In this section, you're going to learn how to find the keywords that matter the most for your listing. And we're also going to be going over which questions your listing isn't actively answering. And you'll learn how to audit your copy and know exactly what to fix for better ranking and clarity. So first, we'll get the main keywords for your product using only free tools. We'll then organize the Rufus questions based upon their importance, and then audit your current copy using custom prompts to see what you can improve upon today. I'm so excited that you've made it this far, as this is one of the most important sections, which is organizing the Rufus questions. So we're going to be using this template from a previous section that has the Rufus questions and then the Rufus answers and the confidence rating. But we're going to be looking at it through these 2 important goals, which is increasing our conversion rate through the usage of photos and improving our traffic through the usage of our copywriting. And so as we scroll down here, you can see the example, right, for women's deodorant. does this scent last all day? That's one of the most important things for deodorant, and it's actually doing a pretty good job of this creative. Now, you could improve it a little bit, but it's doing a really good job for the most important question. And if we look at the second question, does it stain clothing? Well, we didn't really answer that in the listing copy or creative. And so that's a big gap that we have there that we can actually improve. And so once we start ranking all of these questions, we can then organize the priority of which should be answered and how we're going to answer them through our copywriting or through our listing creative. So once you have the list of important keywords and the organized list of the Rufus questions, you can then begin optimizing your listing copy. And we're going to be using ChatGPT to do all the heavy lifting. And we're going to be giving it two main tasks, right? The first task is how well are we doing at answering the customer questions with our copywriting? The second task is how well are we including the important keywords within our copywriting? And then we just need to give it the data within the brackets here and also the other data within the brackets down here. And yeah, once you have that, you can just submit it to ChatGPT and it will do the hard work for you. And I actually provided an example input and output. So right here is the input for this Dove deodorant. And then shortly after this, yep, here's the example output. And it gave me some recommendations here on how I can improve the copywriting. And it's as simple as that. Awesome. So now let's hop into the demo. So first we need to get the main keywords for our product. So we'll go to our listing, scroll to the product details section and click on the category link. We'll then want to scroll to the bottom so we can load all 50 products. Once that's done, then we'll click on the Chrome extension, the Instant Data Scraper. We'll copy the results, then go to the custom spreadsheet that I made for you, and then paste in the results right here. Now, first, you're going to need to make a copy for yourself, and then you can paste in those results. You'll get the list of the ASINs, and you can copy this list here, and then you can go to brands, brand analytics, top search terms, paste that in. You can change the period here and you can refine the results. You'll get the list of all those keywords in our niche. You'll generate a download. I already downloaded it, and then you'll just download the actual CSV output here. And then you'll go to your own spreadsheet and then start organizing the keywords. And then I just manually move the keyword up to the very top and put it in bold if I like it. And it's as simple as that. Now we can go to the other section. So organizing the Rufus questions is as simple as organizing the questions and seeing which ones are the most important to optimize for your listing. And then the last section where we are actually auditing our listing, you can just follow this template here. And I even provided an example of me doing this for my own listing, right? The deodorant, the Dove deodorant. And then I even provided an example output so you can see like what it would likely give you back as a result. And that's it for the demo. Congrats on making it this far. It's now time to take our research and convert it into an actionable plan. So we're going to be asking questions like, are we missing important keywords from our copy? Are we missing answers to important questions in our copy? And which questions or answers would serve as good call to actions within our listing creative. And then after that, we'll formulate a plan. We're going to make these creative changes and these copywriting changes. And we'll then check back in 30 days later to see if our ranking has improved or our conversion rate has improved. And I'm looking forward to hearing back from you guys in the comments, and let me know if you have any questions. And if you'd like to, go ahead and schedule a call with me using the link in the description. Take care, guys.